Hello and thanks for watching Club Marine TV. Now, mention the name Whittley and most people think of high quality, sleek fiberglass boats. But today we are looking at something different. Whittley has introduced a range of aluminium boats. Yes, they've taken the market by surprise and launched 6 new models. It's big news, it's a smart move when you know the facts, so come and take a look. To explain more about the rationale behind Whittley's move into tin, I'm joined by Chief Operating Officer Alan Whittley. And Al, first of all, congratulations, but people buy why? So why tin?
Look, I guess we're getting a lot of comments from the industry and also potential buyers as to why the entry into the aluminium boats for the Whittley brand. But I guess the main rationale is that obviously the smallest glass boat that we build now is around 5.2, 5.3 metres. There's obviously a big market between that and that 3.5 metre boat which we offer in aluminium. But obviously as the business has grown and continues to develop with its own Whittley boating centres with 5 sites across the country and 6 not too far away, we need an entry-level product to welcome people into the Whittley brand, give them a good experience. And as you know, Mark being associated with the brand for a long time, repeat business is key. And we do get a lot of repeat business, so being able to offer something in that aluminium category was important for us through the boating centres going forward.
How much input did the Whittley family have in selecting the models and also the specs for each boat?
Good question. Well, we spent a lot of time, we listened to the market, we listened to potential customers as well, and we're quite involved in the design process as well. It's quite different to a glass boat, which is interesting for our family to learn, but similar principle in many ways, and obviously very important to package things up. And you'll find that the new Whittley AL series is very well packaged up in terms of things like paint and bow rails and side decks and all that sort of stuff, electric motor brackets. We've really packaged the boats up quite high, but also achieve a very competitive price point in the market as well.
They're being offered as boat motor packages, turnkey, drive away, with Dumbia trailers and, in something else of a surprise, Honda outboards. For years, Whittley have had a relationship with Mercury. Yes, you can still get Mercury motors, but in my opinion, the sweet spot for Honda is around that 20 horsepower to 60, 80, even 100 horsepower. So it does make sense. Plus Honda offer a 7-year warranty. The 6 models include a tiller-steered open dinghy, side console, center console, a bow rider, and also a family runabout. All under 5.5 meters, all under $85,000 price point. In fact, the cheapest model is under $20,000 and it will cheerfully get you to a beach or among the fish. I thought we'd start with the 1280 TS because tiller-steered tinnies are where a lot of people begin their boating journey. You still get a surprisingly good little boat and a lot of boat for your money. In this case, you have a choice of power. So the Honda 20 saves about $3,000 over the Honda 30 horsepower. It's plenty if you're not overloading the boat. It can take 4 people, so you can get a fair bit of gear and weight in it, so a 30 will be better if you're going up the ranks. But if your budget doesn't allow, 20 is perfect. Tiller steered, nice setup, big thwart seats, plenty of foam buoyancy. There's also some foam underneath the floor. This is rigged up with a casting deck aft, and you can also have a casting deck forward. So lots of stability. Beam is 1.85 meters. It's carried well out to the sides. It's really a V-nose punt, essentially. Quite flat at the back, but plenty of bow entry. Comes with a platform to mount a trolling motor, electric trolling motor, handrails. I like the carpeted floor. It just keeps it quiet, just makes it a bit safer to move around in. Still gets side pockets. So yes, it's basic. It's probably about as basic as boating gets, but it's done really well. One thing that's conspicuously absent, even in a small boat like this, is a fish finder, because Whittley don't impose the choice of electronics on you. It's fair enough if you don't like the brand that they stipulate, you can choose your own, but you would want to be fitting one pretty soon. Construction-wise, the hull has 1.6 mil sides and 2 mil bottom sheets, so quite strong. Towing weight is just 465 kilos, which those of you who own EV tow vehicles, take note. Coming in at 4.5 metres is the 1450 RA Runabout, which is a crossover family fishing boat. It's priced at under $48,000, complete with a Dunby centerline trailer and a Honda 60 on the back, which is great buying. Starting aft, really interesting boarding platform. It's basically just a flat panel, no well for the outboard, which is handy if you're reversing into some chop or slop, and it won't fill the well, yet the motor sits nice, high and proud. Good boarding access both sides with pads. To port we have a ladder, and there's also really good sturdy handrails just when you're transitioning from the beach. Further forward, rear lounge, it has some storage underneath for your batteries and your personal gear. Great seat for 2 to 3 people. It's padded, it's in a sense, it is quite low on my back, so it won't do a great deal, but certainly better than nothing to have better than having a hard surface behind you. It would be quite a good place to ride in this boat as well. Looking around, it's got side pockets, full flat floor, which is great. You can trick it up with rod holders in your fishing. They have spec'd a bimini on the boat, which is a really handy feature. There's also a 60-litre fuel tank under the floor. Moving forward, you get 2 deluxe pedestal seats here for the driver and the passenger. Really comfortably padded. Don't have a great deal of side protection, but this boat handles fairly well, so you don't need that. It's nice to see a high quality Gussie sport steering wheel as part of the luxuries that Whittley are renowned for. If you're fitting a sounder, you can just mount something here. Not a big sounder, there's not a great deal of height, but this is a family runabout, so you're not going to go over the top. Glove box and drink holders here, so nice little feature. To get to the bow, opening windscreen, and also just this little cutaway so you can reach into the anchor locker to handle your anchor equipment. In terms of construction for this boat, the builder has opted for 3mm hull sides and bottom over a very strong grid frame, so you get good structural stability. Still tips the scales at just 800 kilos, which is an easy job to manhandle in your garage. So 14.5 feet is not a big tinny by any stretch of the imagination. They've made it feel that way by sitting you quite well forward in the boat. We're up near the bow. We do have this nice little windscreen to protect us. I've got plenty of vision over it. Not much wind protection coming off it though, but that will stop a little bit of spray, keep you that bit drier, just keep some of the wind off your body. So cooler climates, you're going to have some protection. Running the Honda 60, it's the perfect power match. I think they've chosen well. Driving it earlier, we found it doing good speeds, good performance out of the hole. And this is a real hybrid boat. You know, typical runabout. You can carry the kids in it and the family and go to a beach. You can stick some rod holders in it and go fishing. You can trick it up a little bit more for just general boating use, but it's also got a little bit of dry storage underneath the bow here. Pretty comfortable seating position, all those sort of things that you want in a tinny. Being a small tinny, it is a bit sensitive to weight distribution. If you're driving on your own, it will peel over slightly, so it is always good to have a passenger with you in a boat this size. That's not a criticism of the Whittley, it is a fact that with all small tinnies, they're a bit lighter, they're a bit narrow in the beam. They have got relative flat dead rise. They do have good chine, so they do what they can, but just for weight distribution, just get that extra person in that seat and you're perfect. You can even have them at the back, because 2 big fellas up front here is pretty hard to trim out. It may be just a bit too bowed down. You might be throwing a little bit of spray. So generally I think it's worth just considering your own trim and driving according to the conditions. Again, it's blowing a fairly strong westerly here, but we're inside the estuaries of the Gold Coast, perfect boating water. So let's just get her up and planing, trim down, and very quiet, really nice there. She's just away. Thought about it for about 2 seconds, then up and went. Quite interested driving it because you're sitting reasonably well forward, as I mentioned. So I'm almost looking straight over the bow. Normally in a tinny, you're driving from the console a bit further aft, or even tiller steering in a 14.5 foot boat. So feels feels good to be up here because it gives you plenty of cockpit, good view, and you're sitting over a section where there's plenty of V underneath you. That finer bow section is soft on the right. And I noticed the chine working really well. It's throwing water well away from us and down. So remarkably dry. For a windy day like we've had, to still have a relatively clean windscreen is fantastic. We're in the green zone now, 4,300 revs. Really fuel efficient motor. Just going to throw it into a couple of turns here. We've got a bit more open water. Turns nicely, there's no cavitation there. Throw it around a bit more onto the, just bites in on that chine. There's a bit of cavitation there, but just bring it round, you can just trim that down a bit more. And that's perfect. Going again, really responsive to that. Steering's quite light. It's a nice gussy steering wheel. One of the things they've done really well is just trick it up with those few little luxuries to stay faithful to that Whittley brand. Just heading into the breeze now. It might just get a little bit louder and choppy, but that's all part of boating in a tinny. Taking that little bit of chop head on. Surprisingly comfortable. You can still hold a normal conversation in here, and that's something to be honest, I wasn't expecting, given the conditions we've got today. Fabulous little boat for waterways of the Gold Coast, protected areas, impoundment fishing, running up and down the Broadwater. You can have a lot of fun in this boat. Honestly, when you're fishing, the fish don't know what size boat you're in. When you're towing a tube, the kids don't mind what size boat you're in. But you're paying under $50,000 for the enjoyment for a brand new boat. Alright, that's the last run. We'll have a look at how quick you can go. You don't need to go flat out in any boat, particularly 14.5 feet. The key to these type of boats is finding a speed that's comfortable, but in a boat testing situation, I do need to give it everything it's got. It's trimmed up pretty heavy there, skipping along. That's pulling 6,200 RPM. Perfectly safe, very well sorted. I'd give that really good mark. Now for the 5 metre 1700 bow rider, which is the second largest model in the Whittley range behind a 1740 centre console. As you see it here, the price has jumped to $71,990, but you get a lot more boat, a lot more features, more spec. Comes again on a custom trailer, but a bigger trailer, and it's rigged with the 100 horsepower Honda, or you can have a 90 horsepower Mercury extra long shaft fitted if you prefer. What I like about a bow rider in this size of boat is that you can spread out, so 5 people capacity, but you can have a couple in the front, couple driving, 1 or 2 at the stern, depending on the conditions, but you're not in each other's way, and when you're fishing, you're not in each other's way as well. Speaking of which, casting deck up front here. Just take these pads out, leave them at home, put the infill in where I'm standing, and you can cast all day long. And get good transom access as well when you're in angling mode. Really comfortable bucket seats on this particular model. They've just got more side protection, so in corners and leans and so on, you are really secure. It has a bolster for your knees. Really no point standing because you're bimini, so you'd have to take that down and you could drive. Nice big dashboard, perfect space here for your multi-function gauge, fish finder. You could go up to 12 inches. It does have the Honda gauge here, which fantastic as it is a little bit obscured by the steering wheel, so a little bit more space than thought would have been great there. Nice quality switches, good driving position, so throttle right near where you need it. You are a little bit over the wheel, which is fine. You don't have any adjustment in the seat. That is one thing I would like to see, either some height or some slide adjustment, just for people of different sizes. I'm 180 centimetres, so pretty good for me. You can stretch your feet out. On the other side of the boat, it's rigged with a Fusion stereo, a couple of speakers on board so you can sit in the bow, listen to your music. It's got some good storage area, a little hatch for the glove box. Further aft, you've got some side pockets, so really good storage. Beneath the floor is a 110 litre fuel tank, so that'll go for most of the day with that 100 horsepower outboard. Also helping is the fact you've got hydraulic steering, so it's not a tiring boat to drive. You'd be quite happy out here driving all day, towing the kids on their toys or going long distances to fish. As a hybrid boat, it's really interesting to see on the spec sheet you get both a bait board and a ski pole, so that really does say a lot about the intent. It's got a couple of rod holders, you can spread more around. These are ripe to be tricked up. You can pimp this boat any way you want with aftermarket items, but as you see it here, it is really comfortably spec'd. You're starting with a great platform, that obviously helps. It's got a nice wide beam, you've got good storage areas throughout the boat, so nothing's going to be cluttering. It's got padded coaming, so when you're fishing you can stand comfortably against them. Rear lounge, great for sitting on, but also folds out of the way when you go into fishing mode. So the builder really has thought of everything, and Whittley have spec'd it really nicely. So we're on the 1700 bow rider now, and like any tinny, the proof's in the pudding when it comes to the handling. They're light, they're fantastic off the water. You can bump them into the shore, you can bump them into poles, but you still want a boat that you can drive. And what Whittley have done here, they've always had boats that get up and plane really well. Their fiberglass hulls are renowned for those big reverse chines that basically just get you up and going no matter what the power. At the moment, we're running a 100 horsepower Honda on this. I think that's plenty, given the hull weight. Also the Hydrolift hull that they've got. It's again, reverse chines. It's a good match between your dead rise and your strakes. And I think, interesting to see how we go. Right now, we're just idling along. The Honda's really quiet. We have been driving it a bit, and I've been impressed by just how quiet and smooth and efficient it is. It's got a few techie features, the Honda. At around 4.5 revs, the VTEC kicks in, and then at full throttle you get the blast, and you can actually just feeds more fuel into the engine and off you go. Just going to get it up now, see how she goes, make sure trim down, and we are planing in about 3 or 4 seconds, even less than that. Just perfect. Really nice power match, that. Good, well propped. Honda gauges show you an eco mode, so around 3,750 RPM, 4,000. It's very happy. It's showing green. Fuel efficiency was 11 litres per hour, and we're doing about 21 knots. Heading into that breeze now, still fairly quiet. Just get it up to a little bit more speed now, and there she goes. There's a nice little mid-range punch there. You can feel that VTEC. It's riding really smoothly on those. Chines are throwing the spray well away as well. You can run with a bit of bow down on these tinnies just to keep that cutting edge, a finer V at the bow, slicing through the water. You really do get what you pay for with boats of this size in terms of comparing with the 1450 Runabout. That is a smaller boat, and you get that little bit more comfort. It's got more power. Yes, there's a price difference, but honestly, as you go up the ranges, you find that little bit more money if you can with your budget, and you're rewarded with a noticeably bigger and better hull in terms of its handling. Throwing around the corner, those hydrolift chines, another advantage of them, they really grip. That is really tight through that corner there. That is really, I like that a lot. Gives you a lot of confidence. Hydraulic steering, you can throw it around pretty hard there. Just a nice degree of slip, we're not being thrown out of our chairs. That's good fun. I must admit, I am still surprised to see a Whittley logo on the side of an aluminium boat. But when they claim to be Australia's largest manufacturer, retailer and service provider in the trailable boat market, then perhaps it was inevitable, if somewhat unexpected after 70 years of doing the same thing. In this trailable segment, aluminium boats have long outsold fiberglass boats for all the reasons we mentioned earlier: affordability, toughness and lightness. So it is a smart move to enter this segment. Having that Whittley name on the side does bring a few extra touches of luxury and class, along with the satisfaction and security of having the support of their own in-house dealership network. How that brand name resonates alongside the long-established and respected names in the aluminium segment will be very interesting to watch. It also remains to be seen whether they can leverage those entry-level aluminium buyers into the more expensive fiberglass boats later in their boating journey. What is for certain is that alloy is an ally to the fiberglass brand in this case, and not an enemy. I'm Mark Rothfield for Club Marine TV. Catch you next time.